Rising. It's the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. Also, patreon.com/the Hood Mystic. Thank you guys over there. Managed to tie up all my loose ends over there. So if you are a Patreon subscriber, make sure you get over there to fill in your monthly moon sign readings. The title of this video today is called Make America Intense Again. Some things that we're going to be talking about astrologically, the Neptune T-square with Jupiter and the moon, and also we'll be talking about our card of the day as usual, and we'll be talking about Yellow Magic Part 3, and basically an overview of what we'll be talking about. But as far as the information, I would have to say the alignment and the sense that it's making in my personal life and how to take this energy further, I think is necessary. And so as we are conscious in 2019 and a lot of fake positivity out here, a lot of, just sage it all away and, affirmations and mantras and, just believe that things will work out for the betterment and things will be, but at a deeper level, there's more to it than just your everyday feel-good consciousness. And so today we'll deal with, the darker aspects of consciousness and how to overcome those darker aspects of consciousness, because the reality that darker consciousness is that we all deal with it in some level. And even if we don't deal with it, there is more to be done with our development. So it all ties into the ego. So I'm gonna digress for a second because I feel like I need to explain this. This picture that I have for the opening or whatever for my little title page or whatever is a picture of Yamantaka. And how I got to Yamantaka was I bought this little book called the Tibetan Divination System, MO. I'll show that real quick. Sorry. So I bought this little divination system book off of Amazon because I'm just like into the Tantra Tibetan thing. And this divination system is like dice. But since we don't got no dice in the house, me and my wife, we just been pulling a divination based upon the date. And so today is 2/14, so that's 2 and 5. So 2 and 5 coincides in the book is the King of Power. And so the King of Power is none other than Yamantaka, the Destroyer. So the Destroyer is destroying death. He's destroying the ego. That's just a pure coincidence based upon the yellow magic and doing the ego magic that we've already been discussing. So when I get into this train of consciousness and when I get into the notes, I hope that people are following along, because I got personal friends, that, vibe with me and talk to me, but they not really following along with what I'm saying. And I'm not saying it to like, oh, you should listen to me if you my friend or nothing like that. If everything is all good, then everything is all good. But what I'm picking up is that everything ain't all gravy. Everything ain't all good. And you trying to figure out why everything isn't all good. And the solution is very, 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 very simple. Extremely simple. Destroy death. Deconstructing the ego. Not removing the ego, not getting rid of the ego, but deconstructing, reorganizing, reestablishing the ego, understanding what it is. Because if it's not examined, if you don't do the self-inventory, if you don't realize your energy and how you are showing up, right? How are you showing up? Then you are inadvertently causing suffering and pain within yourself. So this ain't necessarily about me or our friendship or the things that, you know, we could do together or nothing like that, because that's besides the point. But if you don't get this key point to understanding the ego and understanding that it is a tool and not a something that you are constructed with, like you can't get rid of, then it won't really make sense. And when we discuss yellow magic, I'm going to break it down into the most simplest terms and still keep its magical aspect. So hopefully we're able to follow along and we're able to build on this energy. So today's astrological components are built upon 4 planets today. We're dealing with Neptune, Jupiter, and the moon, all in precarious positions throughout the astrology and providing us with a challenge, providing us with a conflict, providing us with an overall make or break. We've heard so many stories about, oh, I was homeless in a truck and I got my break and I never looked back and all of that. Well, this is more or less speaking to that time. And to make America intense again is the same thing as the president saying make America great again, but it's doubling down on that energy and is more explaining it on an etymological level, which we'll explain. And when we talk about intentions, when we talk about intending, when we talk about all of this fly shit, what is we even talking about? Because, oh, I intend to blase blue, right? But then when it comes to the actual get down to the get down, oh, that ain't work. This magic shit ain't real. And I don't believe in none of that, you know, weird occult shit that you getting into, setting intentions and all that shit, because I set some intentions and the shit didn't manifest for me the way I wanted to. Did you deal with the etymology of the word though? What is you talking about, hood mystic? You always trying to get deep. No, you said you set intentions. You said the word, so what does intention mean? What does it fucking mean? I don't know, but I just expected some good shit to happen because I set some intentions. Okay, we got a lot to talk about, man. So sit down, have a seat. Let's talk. let's talk. You know, let's talk for a second. Because if you worried about your intentions and things of that nature, this is a perfect conversation. We are dealing with the quarter moon, and the quarter moon is one of the most important moon aspects because it allows us to get our shit together. It reminds us of that intention because it's halfway to a full moon. So we're almost there. Make sure that you got, you know, it's like stopping at the gas station, making sure that the kids done peed, you know, y'all got to use the bathroom. Y'all want some snacks. Take that little smoke break. You understand what I'm saying? Like, okay, we all good because we about to be on the road for the next 4 hours. Fill up the gas tank, all of that. Like, you understand? So it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing if you could utilize the quarter moon and say, hold up. My initial intention a week ago was to manifest this in 2 weeks. And, you know, this is where I'm at. I'm either far away from the goal, forgot about the goal, or I'm right in exact with my plans. So Jupiter at the 19th degree mark, it speaks to a level of survival, a level of being concerned with the future, creating your reality on an internal level, but not in the sense of, oh, I'm just, you know, this person that's meditating. No, I'm actually on the frontier. I'm actually progressing past that limit that was set for me by society. And the reality of 8.8 billion souls on this planet is that they are dealing with the level that society has given them. But goddamn, it's so many people outside of that level that you have way more than enough of examples of how to survive in this world outside your little punk ass ego that your mama gave you. Way is millions of people living on the frontier of life, developing their consciousness and albeit fake, albeit real. They're in that space where they're outgoing, and you can talk shit all day about what a person is doing, but shit, they're in that space. They're at a hormonal balance of thriving and on the frontier and on the cusp, and they ain't worried about the shit that you worried about. They ain't worried about living check to check. You understand? They are teamed up, partnered up, squad up, slacked up, tasked up. You got this, you got that. Okay, we doing this. All right, boom. We using this technology. We got instant communication. We got instant accountability. Oh, you did that task? Shit. Everybody on the team, they doing way more than me. I need to step my game up. Okay. You know, people is living like that. So if you isolate it and, you know, not really dealing with, you know, the reality of life, is just like this small little bubble that you've created just for your survival. The question is, how do you elevate past that? And you can't elevate past that unless you conflict and actually create some value in your ego. Like, I don't understand. If I'm gonna talk to you, I'll sit and talk to a person like, what you want to do? I want to be a CEO of my own business. I want to, you know, take flights around the world. I want to, you know, da 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 da, boom boom bam. I want to do all that shit, bro. I'm out here. I got major dreams out here. All right. Let's do it. Hold on, man. I got to go to work. Chill. You moving too fast, Hood Mystic. I mean, what the fuck, though? I mean, where is the value in that ego, in that stance? Like, where is the block? So if a person is serious about anything, whether it's a relationship, a partnership, a career path, you know, we about to do this business together. All right, what are our blocks? That's when you know shit is real. If you like, all right, what is blocking us from getting to the success? And let's hit those blocks head on. Team. What's stopping us? Fuck it. Like, let's all get here. Let's talk about this shit. What is it? Is it the way I talk? Is it, you know, like, what is your problem? And be ready to accept those problems. Be like, have a real understanding. I mean, if we talking about team, if we talking about relationships, and we talking about partnerships, and these are all squares because ain't nobody doing this shit. Nobody's really confronting the elephants in the room. Because to confront the elephant in the room would have to do with your value and your worth and your veneration to soul and listening to your inner voice and all of that. Like, man, you would really cause some ripple effects in your space-time continuum if you establish a dominant persona, as opposed to the submissive persona, which we have to fully get into. We gotta really talk about this shit, because if we don't talk about this shit, you'll be subject to it, right? Because dominance and submission is never portrayed as, hey, my name Jerron. I'm gonna be dominant in this situation and you gonna be submissive in this situation, okay? Because if it was ever like that, if you walked into work and your supervisor said, hey, everybody listen up. I'm the dominant masculine male in this office, so everybody must acquiesce to my every need and desire. Understood? Okay, boss, back to work. Nah, it would never play out like that. It plays out subconsciously, non-verbally, and all human beings have a choice to acquiesce or assert themselves as dominant or submissive. And once you understand these cues or these clues, then that yellow magic that motherfuckers been playing on your ass all this time, it don't work. Oh, this nigga talking loud and slow. He trying to flex. Okay. You dominant now. Sounds good, buddy. But let's digress a little bit for a second. Because the moon is in the second decan of Gemini, and this always needs to be discussed, because no matter what, no matter how high a nigga get, all of a sudden that nigga low, and you like, what happened, bro? We talking all this good shit. You know, we about to do this, we about to do that, about to order a flat, about to get a loft, you know, buy 15 different cars. We about to do the shit. Next week come around, bro, depressed. Bro, what's going on? I'm sad. Why you sad? I can't really put my finger on it, but I can't control. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on, man. We had a whole business meeting today. Man, look, dog, it's 9 swords over my head right now, and I cannot move. If I touch these swords, I'm gonna cut myself. Bro, you mean that swords is over your head? About to chop your head off right now? Yes. I don't really think so, bro. I think you imagining that shit a little bit. No, bro. Like, nah, man. I'm really depressed out here. I'm really blocked. I'm really sad. On a side note, have y'all ever noticed that the most talented people that you know be the most depressed out of sorts motherfuckers on the planet? And you get mad at them? Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, yo, the most talented musicians, singers, artists, painters, you know, be the saddest people. That imagination is why. Because that imagination is so vivid and so real. And if you don't fucking build that up and speak to that shit, and you speak to anything that's negative, and you have that be the major thing, then that's gonna be the real thing, because their imagination is way more powerful than the average person. So a creative child, you have a child that's creative, that creativity has to be nurtured, guarded, and protected their whole lives. You need to focus on psychologists for your other children, psychologists for your main children, because you know what? Reality in the world is going to try to chip away at that creativity and not remove it, so to say, but put it with other shit. Put other shit. So a lot of y'all got children, little sisters, little brothers, things of that nature, who are creative. But the depression is the creativity too. They're creative in their depression, and that depression becomes real for them. So in that fourth point, or the third point on the little pictograph that I have for the 9 of Swords, it says, if we are sure this is not happening, then we must look at how our actions are affecting other people. So if you're not depressed, good for you, my nigga. But when you go to work, when you go to school, when you're around your family, you are in amongst depressed ass motherfuckers. And it ain't shit that you could do about it unless you're ready to do something about it. So, congratulations. You beat your depression. But there's billions with a B. Whenever you at the goddamn DMV trying to get your license renewed, my nigga, you submerged in depressive energy. You try to go to Kroger's, trying to get, you know, a snack for lunch. Depression. You don't think that cashier depressed that she got to stand on her feet for 8 hours? And she making $10.25 with 3 kids at the crib, and she telling you, "Hi, welcome to Kroger's. How may I help you?" How may I help you, ma'am? I know. I don't need. I was just trying to get me a little. What is them little snacks with the you know, them fine little snack like the Lunchables for adults.
Oh yeah.
Them joints slap. But yeah, getting one of them and a little juice for my lunch break. You talk about how can I help you? I'm good. No, me and you need to talk. Like, you understand? And so the danger in all relationships, and that's why, like, we could do the social media thing all day. We could talk, but Hood Mystic, can I come over and vibe with you for a second? I don't know. I don't really know, bro. What's your self-talk about? Because let's digress even further on that pictograph. Let's look at that first point. Often this card will be a comment on your own treatment of yourself. If you denigrate, yesterday or the day before yesterday, we talked about venerate, and I don't necessarily know if these words are opposite, but they rhyme. So denigrate must be the opposite of venerate, and that's a Hood Mystic exclusive. So if you denigrate yourself and beat yourself up, you are facing the worst enemy of your entire life. So I don't, of course, man, I'm check my background, man. It's gonna be like Kyrie from Canton. Oh shit. Dun dun dun. Have a seat. Let me tell you about this nigga. Kyrie, you think you know that nigga because you be listening to his YouTube videos, but let me tell you, I knew this nigga when he was in high school or when he was running the streets, and he ain't nothing like you think he is. Like, you gotta know, like, people, I'm everybody's worst enemy because I keep it moving, man. Like, if I could sense that I'm about to be your problem. And it just felt like I just don't want to be your problem. So I'm gonna just keep it moving and try to figure out how to, because I've always had my own shit that I've been dealing with. So as I'm working on my own shit, like really trying to work on my own shit, it's like I feel that it ain't happening fast enough for a person. So I just have to remove myself because I'm giving myself as much time as I need. And I say that to say that I'm not about to live my life depressed based on what another person says about me, and you shouldn't either. And generally, what a person is saying about you or how a person feels about you is 10 times out of 10 completely irrelevant. All this mattering and all this pointing out to is that you don't really know that shit. You don't really know who you are. If I can tell you something about yourself and it'll affect you in a way that beats you up or brings you down, then you really need to figure out who you are, because man, all you gotta really do is look at them comments to the video I put out a few days ago about that Gucci stuff, when I knew people was gonna be mad about it for weeks. That's why I don't even know how I heard about this shit. If you looked at the date of my video, like, it's way before any other videos towards this shit. Like, I don't even realize how I even figured out about this shit. I just seen the image and it keyed off something about this tantric energy that I've already been following, and the blackface to me was tantric. It was spiritual. And so whenever something spiritual comes out, it's gonna be a small percentage of us that feed off that energy in a positive way. And you would call those people elites or billionaires and things of that nature, or just regular common folk who got sense to not be triggered into no fake outrage. So the final planet that I wanted to talk about was Mercury. And Mercury was squaring the moon yesterday. And this is why I called the video Make America Intense Again, or paraphrasing the title of how the president's catchphrase, Make America Great Again. And great and intense would be the past participle verb. Trust me, I was doing some research trying to understand this shit, so I had to look up what past participle meant because I got a D in English. I ain't gonna lie. So a past participle verb is the verb of an act, like it's an action. So if I've whispered or like whisper would be an adverb, and to whispered would be a past participle. So intensity is the past participle of intend originally. So to intend got you into some intense shit automatically. So if you got a passive intention, oh, I don't really want to rock the boat with this intention, so I don't need 2,000, I need 200. Just give me 200. You know, I don't really want to rock the boat. Give me a quarter raise, I'll be all right. I don't need a partner that's all of that. Just give me somebody that's, you know, decent. Somebody cool. See, there's no stretch in that shit. No stretch of the imagination. So intention, which I was talking about earlier when I told you to have a seat, and hopefully you didn't get up and leave because you got impatient and you still rocking with me. So your intentions, if your intentions don't stretch your imagination, there's no sense in having them, because you're not even dealing with the sense of the word. You have you don't even know what it means. To intend is to stretch and go towards that stretch. So if I'm stretching, I gotta, you know, it's not a normal bodily, like it's contorting myself outside, like it's a force out here. And that's the problem with intentions. There's no real force into it. It's no real intention to it, because it's like, man, you really just intend to go to work. That's your only intention. To go to work, to eat, to chill, to vibe, to listen to music, to party, to enjoy yourself. This real shit, this major shit that's really happening in the world, you don't intend for that shit, because you're not really trying to stretch and go towards that stretch. You like, if you could imagine that shit in your mind, there should never be a question as to what you are doing in the space and time when you got a problem. It's like, well, why you ain't doing the regular shit that you've been doing, man? I'm in the middle of a stretch, like I'm literally moving away from that shit. Literally in that space, I'm stretching towards something that I intend to get to. I'm not stretching. I'm just not staying in the same space. I'm not relaxing and, you know, chilling and cooling. If you're dealing with the power of intention. And so the past participle, or the verb, is intensity. Same word. Intensity, intend, intention is taken from the same Latin word. Intender. And intender is the same as a tendon, like a tendon, a leg tendon that stretches, that, you know, keep your leg in place. And if you're going to look at it from that base sense, it's necessary for movement to stretch, or to stretch out those tendons. So consciously, and developing this consciousness, if you're not striving outside of yourself, like really pushing the envelope and really stretching it, you really not doing shit, bro. You really trying to stay in that comfortable spot, and you just using this shit as a placebo. And get the fuck around, get from around me. Don't ask for no reading, nothing. Like, don't talk to me. Keep it like, I don't, like, I'm stretching, like I'm really stretching myself, and I got a pass, and shit was fucked up, and I had low self-esteem and all types of crazy shit, death, you know, trying to raise children, like, you know, and not having a father. I'm really trying to fucking figure shit out. So if you're not trying to stretch and trying to challenge yourself, like, I'm trying to do amazing things with my children, and that requires a stretch. Like, I'd be easily put my son in school and do all this type of things, and, you know, try to present my children in a certain type of way, but I'm not trying to raise no slaves at all. I'm trying to raise nothing but kings. I got 3 boys, and I'm not trying to teach them to be subservient at all. If my children want to fight me, come on, bring it. You think you got it? Come on, let me see what you got. We can fight all day. I'm not trying to. Don't be afraid of me. If you think you can take me, come on, come on. See what you got. One day they gonna get me, and I'm gonna be happy when they able to, you know what I'm saying, be able to whoop my ass. Like, okay, I did a good job, because I'm not. You can, and that's your choice. But I'm not raising nobody to be listening to somebody because they performing magic on my ass. It's not real. So, Yellow Magic Part 3. I hope y'all been paying attention. Yellow Magic 1, Yellow Magic 2. Let's do a quick overview, because maybe you haven't. I'm not gonna touch on Magic Part 1, Part 2 long, but I'm gonna just give us a topic. I'm gonna just give us a quick overview. So the 4 aspects of Yellow Magic are ego, charisma, laughter, creativity as one, and assertion, dominance as another one. And so ego is our self-image, and we got to understand that our ego, how you were born, is not your shit. That's just simply something that's been given to you by your parents. And the wise one, or the monk, or the enlightened one, or the Buddha, deconstructs his ego, reconstructs his ego, gets his ego in order. It don't just, I'm this way, I was born this way, and I'm just this way, and look at me be this way, and if I fall and I keep getting into fucked up relationships being this way, but I don't care because I'm this way. And it's like, okay, stay that way, my nigga. Like, keep being a crash dummy. Part 2, we talked about charisma and the laughter, humor. Charisma is the projection or the aura of confidence. So confidence within itself is not a real, like the root word to confidence is con, like it's a con job within itself. And fidence is more or less fitness, or being apt to be in the world, or to be fit, physically fit and engaged in the world. So generally, none of us can like, you look at the individual and you look at the world and you're just a little tiny speck. So how does anybody develop any form of fit or confidence? You gotta lie to yourself. You be in a goddamn mountain or somewhere in the vast earth, like, okay, I gotta think of something more to be in this world, because this motherfucker is huge and vast and I don't even know where to start. So you gotta at least act like you know what's going on. I mean, you gotta at least act like you know what's going on, and that's just in the moment, in the environment, in the situation. Whether you're at a job, or the Kroger's, DMV, wherever, you gotta be confident and fake it. And it's not fake it till you make it, or it could be fake it till you make it. But the goal of Yellow Magic is to start confident and end confident, because if you understand confidence at its root, nobody is born confident. Like, it's developed. And through that development, it's like never real. It's never ever real. So it's just more or less of an idea that you attach to. And whatever you find yourself in, you can always be confident and find your way out of it. And so laughter, humor is another tool that assists with that charisma, because it's like, you feel good about this confidence and you have a good vibration. And that laughter and humor is not like laughing at person like, look at you a broke ass nigga, yeah, ha, ha, ha. It's like the good overall feeling of brothers and sisters sharing a laugh together, like coming together on that level. But all of these is in the notes, and I will have a full Yellow Magic compendium overview in my next video, so stay tuned for that. Yellow Magic Part 3, though, is the part that made me feel hella uncomfortable reading it. I felt so uncomfortable reading it, going through the notes, that I had to read about 3 or 4 times. So I expect this to be uncomfortable for you if you are submissive and you don't necessarily want to be. submissive in situations that require your dominance, or dominant in situations that require your submissiveness, and you don't understand the meaning of it. Maybe you expect a person to say I'm dominant, or maybe you expect a person to say I'm submissive, but it does not work like that. So human beings live in a social order. We just hate to admit that fact. You know, whether we have a job, you have your supervisors, managers, different hierarchies when you in family settings. You could be walking down the street and a cop can blow down on you and things of that nature. So social order, we exist in that, and we hate to admit that fact. But if we're gonna admit that fact, okay, how do we live, or what is the protocol? Like, what are the rules to it? If we don't, so human nature is good for ignoring shit that's there, but still living in that space because it's too difficult to come to that realization that I'm under you, or you're over me, and that thing, like, it's hard to say that, so we'll masquerade it and code it as in supervisor, manager, and the cop can wear a shiny badge and hold a gun and things of that nature. Like, all of these represent dominance. Very subtle, though. So when you find yourself in situations like this, you can, in the book, they speak. Well, I'm taking this from Liber Chaos by Peter J. Carroll, if you don't know. But also got some more stuff to talk about. But anyways, if wherever you're at in a situation, the specialist is more so found in the dominant role. When you are a specialist, when you are valuable to a team, then that creates a level of assertion or dominance that needs to be there, or else somebody will take that position real quick. So once again, before we get into the dominant traits or the submissive traits, we got to understand that it's never a person saying, I'm dominant, I'm in control. Like, it never plays out that way. It's always a non-verbal understanding that people grasp intuitively and subconsciously. And so even though it's happening, we're not really understanding how it's happening. So when you go to work today, because it's early, you go to work today, and your supervisor might make an announcement. Pay attention to how he gets down. You'll see all of these traits being displayed or not. So just really pay attention. And then once you see these traits being displayed or not, then realize that that person is literally putting magic down right before your eyes, and then automatically the veil is removed. The veil is removed, because what happens when you are dealing in this level of confidence, or this level of machismo or dominance, your hormones are acquiescing to the vibration that you're putting out. So you hear all the time where women are, after a pattern of dominant behaviors in relationships, they figure like, I can't not be dominant now. Like, because their hormones have acquiesced to the level for which they're vibrating. So hormone action, that's kind of something that we'll talk about. But these are some of the keys or the cues to look for in dominant traits, whether you at work, the DMV, whatever. Somebody make an announcement. Excuse me, everybody. They talking loudly, talking slowly, using lots of eye contact, interrupting speeches and not being interrupted. So, you know, you could be talking, somebody interrupt you and you try to talk back, but they don't let you get it in. They being dominant. A upright position, and maybe they got their hands behind their back because you don't necessarily know if they about to pull out a gun. And that ain't necessarily a real reality, but this is how, or they're just like, they might still on you, but they not, but you kind of feel threatened. Dominant people will invade your personal space, but they won't let you invade theirs. And then dominant people will make sure that they're the focus of intention. They'll never be in a situation where, and so dominant people or toxic dominant people just feel uncomfortable in situations where they're not the focus. And then when they're not the focus, they are bad company. You sense it and you like, yo, what's wrong with you? Oh, nothing. What you mean nothing? You not even like, what's your problem? They're not the focus, they're not the center of attention, so they got a problem with that shit. Dominant people always initiate contact and they always are the one to refuse it. So in a nutshell, these are some dominant traits, and the opposite to all of this, whether you talking mad fast, talking soft, you being submissive. Do you want to be submissive in that space? You avoid eye contact. You being submissive. You letting people interrupt you when you talking. You not speaking up when you need to say something. You being submissive. You all slouched over in your phone. You being submissive. You letting people invade your personal space. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand, all of this is playing out in real time before your eyes, and it's all a fugazi. People's hormones have matched their actions, but the reality is that we all could use a little hormone action. Activational effects of the hormones versus the organizational effects of the hormones. The activational effects are short-term and reversible, so it only comes out in little spurts. But then again, you ever dealt with a dominant person that's dominant in real life, but then when they get home, they're not so dominant, they're really passive? Or a submissive person at their jobs, and then when they come home, they're uber dominant, they're toxic dominant. Activational effects. So to master our hormones is yellow magic. Very simple, very powerful. Because what I've just said, anybody on planet Earth can utilize talking loudly and slowly, looking people in the eye, making sure people respect what the fuck they're saying at all times. Nothing's stopping you from doing that. Nothing's like, if a person is trying to assert dominance over you, excuse me, no, not today. No yellow magic's being done on me today, brother, sister. Sorry. I see what you tried to do there, but no. So let's take it back one more time so we can be so clear on this. So we can be so clear on this that, a person might not listen to this video, but you hear it and you're clear that actions affect your hormones. The more dominant traits that you're able to utilize, the more your hormones will respond. And once your hormones respond, that's just what it is. Hormones connect to pheromones, and your pheromones create your aura, and people have to respond to you the way that you respond to yourself. And this all ties into the Nine of Swords and the T-square. All of this is, how are you treating yourself? Because the way people treat you, that's a clear indication of how you treat yourself. Because if your pheromonic level, we know this to be fact and true. When we were in our 20s, and our pheromonic balance was that of ratchetness, we attracted those ratchet ass friends and ratchet ass situations. We could just walk outside and, it just, hey, get in. All right, let's do some ratchet shit. Let's do it. And was just in the car, in the road, doing what we do. You in your 30s, you done had kids, some ratchet shit might come around you. You might be like, what the hell? Was I doing that? See, you don't even understand your pheromones and your hormones, do you? You don't even realize how you was attracting people and how you attracting people to this very day based upon your relationship with yourself, your hormones, and your pheromones. See, all of these things exist. These are all words that I have not created. There's been plenty of scholastic abstracts written on these subjects and titles, and great scientists and great thinkers have proposed hypotheses on how these things actually work, and maybe you're just not in tune to what's happening, and so you're just dealing at a different level. But you owe it to yourself to understand how your goddamn hormones work. Like, man, if you don't know shit, you feel me? Like, do that make sense? Like, what is your hormonal balance talking about today? So once you understand, you say what? What is your flesh? What is you talking about today? Like, what is your reading? What's your daily energy reading about? Once you understand the nonverbal subconscious cues of yellow magic, it will no longer enchant you. You will be able to project your own yellow magic on the world. And this is the assertion domination piece. It's yellow magic, and it all coincides. So if you can utilize and understand all four aspects to yellow magic, and find a balance of all four aspects in real terms, that's your solution right there. And I guess where I'm at with it is that maybe I'm not clear enough in my explanation, so I'm going to pick apart every part that I've talked about in my notes and really create a table, create a graph, something, so I could really literally show people how this thing really works on a multi-level understanding. So the blue magic compendium was good, but the yellow magic compendium is going to be a little more, I'm gonna do more shit with it so it can become more clear to people, because I feel like this can help a lot of people if you're able to grasp it though. But I think understanding it from the ego, then taking it from the ego to projecting your charisma, then having that laughter humor piece, and then bringing it into assertion domination, then that works. If you just assertive and dominative, you become a harmful, toxic piece of shit. And that's not what we're trying to establish. So incorporating the laughter humor part is really the key. But then structuring the ego in a way and being confident, very important magical aspects. But any questions? It's early, so I tried to get up on here early just to get this message out. This was one of those messages where I was like, I don't really care if anybody hears this or anything. I just really need to document it. So once again, my chat is offline, so I don't know why they do that, but probably to just so I can end these videos. I don't know. I've been talking for 51 minutes, so hopefully that message came off clear and the stream of consciousness was unobscured, and you were able to pull from this and able to apply this in your daily life and pay attention to your supervisor today. Peace.